Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the HRT LBAC. And before we get this video started, I wanted to give a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, which is Parcel Safety. You guys know I have taken a look at a lot of different gas masks here on Firearm Freedom, and Parcel Safety offers a wide variety of masks, and a lot of them are at a pretty reasonable price point. What I like about Parcel is they have kind of everything you could be looking for when it comes to gas masks. If you have a more tactical desire and you want a mask that is very well suited for the CBRN world, then you could go with something like the NB100. And then they also have masks down to just basic respirators that are not full face respirators, but they're going to allow you to do tasks around the house, to be around small particulates and other things that you don't want getting in your lungs. They are actually giving you guys a 10% off discount code for watching this video. You can click that link down in the description. It'll also be pinned in the comments. And at your checkout screen in the discount code section, you can use the code FIREARMFREEDOM10, that's FIREARMFREEDOM10, to save you 10% off of your order. Okay, the HRT LBAC. Guys, you will have to bear with me a little bit here because I have always had a tough time trying to figure out how to do reviews on plate carriers, more so how to show you the plate carrier in the review without it not being easy to see or tough to understand what's the front, what's the back, because it's just all laid out on a table. So I'm taking a little bit of a different approach with this video, and you guys get to see me actually do this review, which will be a little bit interesting on a product because I normally don't do reviews like this. But hopefully you will be able to see the LBAC a little bit when I'm showing you the different pieces on it. As always, full disclosure, what is my relationship with HRT? HRT has sent me a few different things in the past, and they did send me this LBAC plate carrier to take a look at in this video. I love the folks over at HRT. They make some awesome products, and they never ask for a positive review. They always just simply want to know how their stuff is performing. I've had kind of this idea in my mind for a while now to get a plate carrier and just kind of go full heavy with it and not really care so much about weight and just kind of go with anything I could ever want on a plate carrier. How the LBAC differs from the rack plate carrier from HRT, which I actually have a rack back there on the gun wall, and I love the rack. I have no complaints about the rack, but this LBAC is just kind of like the next step up. It's the next step up in price, and it also has a few other things going for it. The LBAC, first and foremost, has these quick detach maritime releases on the plate carrier, and those releases are going to be on the top, and they're also going to be on the sides. Pretty much any section of this plate carrier that you may want to remove quickly if you were to fall into water, this is going to do a good job of that. I actually really dig them quite a bit. I was using them a lot. They are super easy to understand how to use, and I'm sure I'll be giving you guys some close-ups all throughout this video, but you have this tab here, and you are simply going to pull in the direction that the arrow is facing. And in this case, you're going to be pulling to the right. You got to kind of pull up a little bit and right, and it comes right off, and that is a really nice feature when it comes to quickly getting out of a plate carrier. Now, as you guys are going to be able to see here, you can just simply pop it back into place and you're back in action. So that is a really nice feature of the LBAC. The LBAC is also going to have a very interesting back panel here that you guys are going to see throughout the video, and it's going to look a little bit odd at first. So the way that the actual plates are inside of the LBAC in the back of the carrier is they're in a plate bag. And essentially the plate bag is going to be held separately from the carrier itself. And you have a bungee system in the back pulling this carrier together, and that is going to ensure that it stays tight to your body. But what I thought was really interesting about this, I'm not necessarily a skinny guy, right? If you have a little bit of a build going at all, or you have a smaller waist and a larger than normal upper body, generally what can happen with plates, and the same goes if you are heavier set around the waist and smaller up at the top of your body, your plates can sit kind of in a weird direction. The carrier snugs in really tight against your body and your waist, and then the plates actually sit out, and the way that they sit out is straight up and down. And I thought that was pretty crafty, because when it comes to a carrier, you want to make sure that that is sitting high enough, and also that your plates are not like fully tilted one way or another. And then the last thing here is that the actual LBAC has a better tensioning system on the straps and a more comfortable system long-term on the shoulder straps up top. Other than that, the front portion of the LBAC is almost identical to the rack. It is essentially the exact same carrier in the front where your plates are going in, and how this adjusts in the back and everything like that is exactly the same. How I have this outfitted is, of course, as you guys are going to be seeing, in the wonderful M81 Woodland camo pattern. M81 is my heart and soul. I love this camo. I loved this camo when I was like 7 and 8 years old playing airsoft with my buddies in this camo back in the day, and I've loved it ever since then. I've never not loved M81 Woodland, and here in Pennsylvania, I personally think that this is still an incredible camo to this day. If you are in a wooded area, let's say in the summertime in Pennsylvania, almost nothing beats Woodland unless we're going into hunting camos and other things like that. Where I think Woodland does not so good of a job in is in winter months, and that's where I actually think multicam does a little bit better, and that's kind of why I have one of my carrier setups in multicam, and I wanted to do one in M81 for whatever type of season we were in. On this LBAC, I decided again to go full heavy, so we have the Maximus placard up in the front. I've used the Maximus placard on the rack plate carrier before, and I've never had an issue with it. I really do like it. Not only was I using the Maximus placard in this video, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit. You guys know I hate the usual videos, right? Everyone runs a plate carrier with an AR, so why not run a plate carrier with a shotgun? And that's exactly what I did. And I also used my HRT shotgun placard in the front of the LBAC, and of course it worked excellent. I had absolutely no issues with running that shotgun rig on here. And for almost all of the range footage that you guys are going to see in the B-roll, I was actually running their subgun insert and running it with HK MP5 mags for my HK SP5. Before we put this on and kind of go over exactly how I have everything set up in this specific configuration and the wheres and whys, we can go over the backpack setup, because I think this is very interesting, very cool. Now, you're generally never going to be using a plate carrier to ruck in, right, for long amounts of time over a great distance. That is not really what a plate carrier is designed for. It is designed for shorter distances, right? But I do think there is some merit to have kind of like a middle of the road option. Not something that you're going to be trucking with for a long period of time, but also not something for a small situation where you're maybe only in it for 10 or 15 minutes and then you're going to take it off and not use it again. This is the HRT Hydromax pack, and it is going to give you a few different options here. So you guys will notice I have my hydration system. I just used a Condor water bladder, and this can fit up to a 1.5 liter hydration bladder in there. It feeds really nicely into the shoulder straps, and they even have a section here which is elastic on the carrier where you can stick the little hose coming out for your drinking tube, and it works really well. Now, on top of that, with the back panel, you have the ability to essentially have a backpack, and it is going to give you a lot of room to put whatever you want to. For example, in here I have a complete MRE, and of course you could slim that down a lot. You could take out all of the non-essentials and fit quite a bit more in here. Even with an entire MRE, I can fit probably another one, or I could fit whatever else I want to. If I want more medical, I can fit that in here. And then it's also spec'd out for a ballistic helmet too. So if you had any sort of a helmet for night vision or whatever, you could easily put that helmet in here. Hell, you could probably fit your night vision in there with the helmet inside it, or whatever else. There's a lot of different options with this pack. And then if you don't want to use the added size, you can actually zip up the pack and it gets a lot tighter to the body itself, and you don't really have to worry about it. So it's just one of those things where if you want it, it's there. If you want to zip it up and not use it, you can do that too. And you still have external pockets on the outside. Now, they were really crafty with this and put Velcro on the inside of this pocket, so you can actually put in any of their regular Maximus inserts in this, and it's going to work out just fine and give you extra magazines, medical, whatever else. And then again, a large general purpose pocket here on the bottom of the pack, which can fit a lot of different stuff in it. Now that I actually have the plate carrier on my person, I can kind of go over how I have this configured at this point and a few of the other features of the rig. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I am wearing the Maximus placard in the front. It's just going to be standard Velcro underneath. So any placard for any plate carrier is pretty much going to fit, and also that includes anything from the HRT line. Of course, it is just on there with these buckles, so you could pop those off, and it's going to be easily able to switch out to another rig or use the Maximus as a standalone chest rig. As it sits, this has the AR mag inserts, but it can also fit, again, a variety of different inserts on the inside. And then the Maximus is also going to have the front GP pockets, and in here I have some medical, and over on this side I just have a few different items, face mask, flashlight, knife, a few other things in there that end up working out really well in these small pockets in the front, but you really can expand these a good bit and fit quite a bit in here. I love the way that this stores pistol mags. It's excellent, works out really well, easy to reload from these sections with the mags facing forward. We got to talk about the Cummerbund. So with my body type, right, the rear portion of the bag looks like it's pretty low, but it's actually in line with my sternum in the front, so it is what it is. But you guys can see there that we have the Tegris in the Cummerbund. Now, how the Cummerbund is going to work is you have a Tegris inner sleeve. Now, if you guys saw my HRT battle belt review, you know I have it's like my arch nemesis, this Tegris material, because it is rigid, but it's so rigid. So sometimes it can be a little tough to just get everything set up. But I do think as a Cummerbund option, it's not too bad. Now, they give you these outer sleeves, and as you can see here, I am sporting a smoke grenade here in this side of the sleeve, but you can fit a wide variety of stuff in there. It's a great general purpose sleeve that a bunch of stuff is going to fit in, including nothing, if you just want to run it bare on that side. The one complaint that I had so far about the plate carrier is with my size, there is a little bit of Tegris overlap in the middle. And the Tegris goes into this small section here. So essentially, when you put this in, sometimes, not all the time, it doesn't want to go all the way in because it's hitting the Tegris from the other side. Now, there might be some other way to do this, but what I found kind of works is to make sure you have your placard up like you normally would, and you got to just kind of fiddle around with it a little bit until it squeaks by the other side and goes into place, and then you Velcro it in. So not the end of the world, but it is noticeable that it's a little bit frustrating to get that in sometimes. So you just got to keep that in mind. I do have some chem lights up here, but it is MOLLE capable, so you can put a bunch of MOLLE stuff up there. And then on the other side, in that general purpose pouch, I have my radio. And this is just a Baofeng UV5R. works fine in the pouch, no complaints there. And you also have, again, an elastic piece on the side to either put your antenna through it, to put something for a PTT in there if you wanted to, or whatever else. There's a lot of different options on the side, and that's kind of what I really like about the LBAC. You can do so many different things with this plate carrier, or run it pretty minimal if you want to do that as well. How did this feel running it at the range with all this added weight? After a few hours at the range, I absolutely was feeling the weight. This is a heavy plate carrier. I have level 4 ceramic plates in here. They're 5.5 pounds each. So that alone is 10 pounds. Full ammo loadout, you're easily getting to like 20 or 25 pounds for this plate carrier setup, let alone if you jam pack a bunch of stuff in the back. But I will say the weight is very evenly distributed. They did a very good job with the suspension system that is this plate carrier setup, with the actual internal suspension system and then the plate bag on the outside in the back. It really does get everything situated so that you don't really feel a bunch of that weight right in the hot spots. And speaking of hot spots, I didn't get any at the range at all. Now, as far as, again, shouldering stuff with this plate carrier, I think it's definitely doable. It's not any better or worse than any other plate carrier out there. It does a pretty good job at that, but that's always going to be a concern when you're looking at shouldering a rifle with a plate carrier on. I would absolutely say that the LBAC is worth the money. That is going to wrap up this first impressions video on the HRT LBAC. If you guys have any other questions about this rig or anything else on the channel, please throw them down below in the comments section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the different ways to support my channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.